Devlog number 21. I have a bunch of important foundational things I've been working on. Nothing like really big and exciting, but like minor stuff that's still pretty important that I want to talk about. So I went ahead and did make the map tiles bigger. I came up with sort of a compromise size between the very large one that I tried just as a test and the very small one I had before. What's the actual number here? Let's find out. Oops, no, please come back. Where are you? There you are. I think I set it to like 40 the other day, and this is going to be in counter map node view. 38? Okay, so 2 pixels smaller. Alright, yeah, so 38 looks pretty good. I didn't feel like I had to tweak all that much to make this look okay. Padlock icon's a little smaller than I think I'd like it to be. I made the new indicator a bit larger. So, you know, I start this, and that goes away. So that shows me a thing that I have not looked at yet. New, right. Unlock animation will still work pretty much the same. While I go in here, right, the layout of this screen has changed a little bit. Talk about all this stuff in a second, but yeah, let's just see how that unlock looks. I got a bunch of real good suggestions for more tweaks to make to that. I haven't made all of them yet. Anyway, right, yeah, so this familiar setup. I added a thing here. Since I was talking about it, I have a button here that will just end the battle instantly and tell me the outcome. Let me first set this up wrong. Let me just, like, not give you a potion. So if I end the battle like this, battle has ended, player loses. It just skips straight to the final turn. If the battle doesn't resolve after like 200 turns or something, it just tells you about that, or I forget what I did, but I handled that somehow, so it won't just infinite loop if the battle never resolves. But yeah, it tries to go through as many turns as it's going to take for a battle to end, and you either win or you lose. This is extremely handy for me. I'll probably keep this button here. I see no reason to not have it just like always accessible. Because yeah, like it was a pain to always have to do this every time I want to go through the everything. You know, like you'd look at this if you want to just watch the battle play out or like diagnose some issue in the middle. You know, you'll have to do this to understand, like, why did I die that turn? I don't know. So, you know, this is just the button if like, okay, I've been tweaking this setup, I have this 30 turn thing that has to play out. I just want to see if I got it right or not. So yeah, end button I think will stay there. This layout, of course, will change somehow, something. I've turned my attention to this screen here. So the start battle button is in the center here. I want to fancy this up in some way. It shouldn't look just like a normal button. This is like a very important, you know, should be a big ornamental thingy somehow. And I got a real good suggestion that I liked a lot, to leave this and this in place when I transition between these screens. Like those two fixtures can sort of show, like, you know, this is the state of the battle. You're setting it up here, and then you go here and you actually do something about it. I like that a lot. Haven't actually done it yet. You know, I need to make these be in the same place. I'll get there. Anyway, so the other stuff that's here, right, let's see that unlock. Yep, okay, so looks the same, still good, just at a slightly larger map tile size. Okay, yeah, so that has a check mark. There was at one point some problem with unlocks not responding correctly to challenges. I wonder if this should have the new icon on it. Like, that's the same as... It probably should. Okay, see, now that's both a technical and a design decision I need to think about. Like, in terms of technology, I'm just keeping one scene flag for each encounter. But, like, not having seen it under the context of a challenge is a different concept from not having seen it at all. I'll think about it. I'm not sure if I want to change that, but I could. Anyway, yeah, so this will be identical to that other solution. We know this pretty well by now. Boy, I need to make some new test data. There was a time, several months ago, Oh yeah, right, I can talk about another thing. Time several months ago when I was working on this showcase scenario, it was pretty cool. I did some stuff with it, then like I turned my focus to other parts of the game and didn't come back to that. We'll talk about this little orange triangle in a bit. That's most of what I've been working on. So this remembered my state. I still have the warrior there with that equipment and those actions. Anyway, for the early giant challenge, this plays out exactly the same. And yeah, so I have a separate unlock animation there. So it acknowledges that challenge unlocks are separate from normal ones. So all that works correctly. So right, that little orange thing I'm going to talk about. So let's go in here. So challenge number 2. I'm going to just like make some random nonsense in my setup. I'm going to put a warrior here, a mage here. Going to put like a sword in the mage's hand, and you know, warrior gets potion in slot 2 and is going to move to here. You can't even do that. Anyway, so I've put some, you know, a bunch of noise here. I've input a bunch of things. I can do clear setup. This is familiar, so that'll just reset everything to the base. Sure, why not? And undo all my work, which was barely work, but that's fine. What did I do? It doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to do the same thing because that's what I did. Sure, and you are going to get a wait action and then another attack. You cast the unequipped spell. Sure, whatever. So if I exit this, I can actually exit all the way out of the game, and it will remember. This is my there's a thing in progress icon. Oh, hey, I don't have a corresponding thing here for that. Ooh, I need an icon here to tell you. You have saved progress here. So it saves the working solution, like the thing that I started inputting here. It remembers that, and it even persists it beyond, like, if I quit the game and start it up again. Full screen, yes. So that still has the triangle, and it still remembers everything that I input. Warrior's there, has that, has those actions. Mage has that equipment, has those actions that mean nothing. All right, cool. And I could clear it, so that would clear it out of there, and then it would be off of this screen too. Sure. So that's gone, and if I quit the game and come back, it'll still be gone. How exciting. So no triangle, no saved setup. So that's the automatically saved, like, working, you know, it's the mark on the map is to show you, hey, you've done some stuff here, you tried to get a solution, it didn't quite, like, actually solve the thing. Ooh, that's a check mark and that's a star. Inconsistent iconography, they should be the same thing. Probably a check mark in both places. Because yeah, star means something else. But I'm using star in a bunch of places for clear? Okay, I have some iconography to think about. So I need one to exist at all for this. Like, these map tiles are almost large enough that I can just use the large form factor of the icon. The reason these icons are different, you know, it's a little blue dot here and a new symbol there, and check mark here and a star here, originally was just due to size. Because, like, these used to be not much larger than just what this icon is. I could fit the star here, but it wouldn't look good. This is actually in a different style. You know, this is the black and white with, you know, black outline and whatever, you know, where I'm drawing white as yellow here, but I could draw that in any color. These are actually full color and don't have, like, an outline around them. And they kind of have, you know, from the top lighting, you know, they're a little bit 3D-ified. And honestly, I feel like this style of iconography just looks a lot better than this style I've been using everywhere else. Like, I think I'm ready to just basically ditch the style that I've been using for this 15 by 15 black and white thing, and just replace those with, you know, arbitrary full color icons. I thought a lot about the style of that. These are kind of quick to make, you know, the palette and size limitation, well, the size would stay the same, but the palette limitation and the style, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, like, I guess these things here were kind of my way of playing with a different style, and it's turning out I'm liking it a lot better. So maybe just like this in that style somehow. I don't know. I'm still kind of proud of my ooze icon. I like the way this came out. So probably like an evolution of these. Oh, well, and also champions. themselves really need larger icons, like double this size. Yeah, this battlefield should be much larger. It's the centerpiece, the focal point of this screen and this screen. Let's see if this battle gets done. What? It didn't? Really? I died on turn 5. I should have the say, player died on turn 5 or something. I mean, the information's there, but it's not presented very clearly. Also, this looks like it's a little bit... Yeah, that T is in line with the I here. This looks centered. This looks like it's too far to the right. Okay, minor layout problem there. Anyway, what I was trying to talk about before I got distracted by 100 things was that I can save this setup. I don't have an editable text widget in my UI toolkit right now, so this just shows me the name it's going to save. This will be editable, right? But right now it's just uneditable text. So this will save as untitled1. I should make a special noise for that. I should make a special noise for this, and I should make a special noise for this. So, ooh. That's fine, but I just realized what this is going to look like. Check this out. Alright, so that's a big mess. Restore setup. Doesn't know what to do when you have 0 saved setups. Anyway, yeah, so this adds, right, so this would be saving as Untitled2 if I did that. So, you know, let's move that around just so you can tell it apart. So mage in the back is for Untitled2. Okay, so like if I restore Untitled1, the mage is in the front now. Sure. If I restore Untitled2, okay, right, this is changing just because you're trying to attack, but the imp is out of range. So yeah, anyway, I can save and restore an arbitrary number of those. This is very bare bones. I have no way to rename or delete or overwrite any of those. It'll just save a new one. So, you know, Untitled3 now has the mage in that position. These stick around on disk. They are separate from the working solution. So essentially I can have 4 here. I put the warrior there. It saves with the little triangle thing. That's my working solution now. But like I can restore this, I can restore this, I can restore this. Just the last one that I was looking at is the one I'm going to be brought back to. Well, I had said something that turned out to be false. I understand why that is, because I changed my setup without making a modification, therefore it didn't commit those changes to my working setup, and remembered the last one that had visible changes. Okay, well, again, this is both a design issue and a technical issue. I have to think a little bit more. This feature just got working today, so, you know, very rough around the edges. If I clear this setup, my working setup is gone. It still has the little triangle on it. There's nothing there. So that shows that you have something in this list, or you have a working setup. Working not as in, you know, it works and it gets the battle done. Working as in you're working on it, basically. Another layout issue. This is less space than this. However, this is moving, so I don't care. But also, you know, this is a lot less space than this. I need to redo this background. This was supposed to be a placeholder. It is still a placeholder. But, you know, I want something a little more, you know, I don't want just a green rectangle and, you know, differently green, jaggedy line, and then a gradient. There's supposed to be more here, but it kind of gets the general point across. So I haven't felt the need to mess with it again, but I will eventually. This is temporary. Everything is temporary. Until it's not. Right, so saving and restoring is there. That's pretty cool. It took a lot of work, but it is there. So my inventory button is over here now. Works the same, but it's over there now. You know, still shows the same stuff. And I have a new thing, champions in battle. So this shows all of the battle participants. Like if I had the warrior there, now the warrior's in the battle too. So this is a way to look, since this stuff up here, I'm going to be removing it and making this the central focal point. If you want a list of champions, it's analogous to this encounter list. You know, it's another way of looking at the same data. Here's the spatial layout, here's the linear layout of what you see there. Yeah, so there again, I'm using the star for cleared. Right, same icon there is there. When I point at this, it should probably put the encounter preview down there, which might be overlapped by this if I have a really long name of something. Well, so scrolling and like space accommodations are still something I have to think about. Again, I have this showcase scenario here, sure, that I haven't touched much. I have this UI limit stress test, UI limit stress test, UI limit stress test, UI limit stress test here that also hasn't gotten much attention. I wish I could just like split myself and have, you know, 6 different copies of me working on different parts of this at once. It'd go a lot better. This is probably the largest scope of game project I've worked on in my life, and I'm getting an appreciation for just like how valuable it would be to have an entire team doing these things. But it's just me, so I can only put my attention in one place at a time. Anyway, yeah, so Champions in Battle is analogous to the encounter list here. You can look in list format at what is shown spatially here, and yeah, these are going away. Right, this exists to allow those to go away, because this gives me a place I can point at and get the same, whoops, same like pop-up options and actions as I would get if I looked at that. So these are the same pop-up, this and what I would get there. So I can do everything here that I can do up there. Might be useful for something. And like right now this is not very nice to interact with. Something I'm still missing is a nicer way to add a champion to battle, because like if you come into the screen, oh boy, cursor navigation. It bothers me a lot. The way things connect in the UI, like when I'm here and I steer right, I go there. I steer left, I go here. I steer down, I go there. Steer right, steer left. Still haven't figured that one out. Anyway, yeah, so just looking at this screen, it's extremely not obvious that the action you need to take to get anything going is to go here, double tap it, available champions, warrior, add to party. So many actions. Like, that's an important action. What should happen, just as I've set it up so that if I just press the accept button, my cursor will... Okay, let's restart the game since I was on that screen. So I'll press the button. My cursor is there. I'll press... Okay, that cursor should default to the first unsolved encounter. Okay, so I need to be more intelligent with where my cursor goes. All right, fine. Well, this will work nicely with a clean scenario state. Reset. And a fresh launch of the game. Okay, so that cursor state needs to reset with that too. All right, fresh launch of the game. Press the button. Press the button. Press the button. Press the button. What should happen is if I just press my accept button, you know, just keep on pressing that button without making any other inputs, reasonable default actions should happen. Like if my cursor had been placed here when I entered this screen. Press, 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 press. That's kind of okay. If this is going away, then I guess your main way of interacting with this would be here. So press, 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 press. Okay, then you get to the actions interface. That's not bad. You might want to assign equipment first. However, I'm going to change this so that equipment has, like somewhere outside of the screen, I can assign default equipment. So like whenever you put a warrior in battle, he's going to come with a sword in his hand instead of you having to do that every time. So if that's already assigned, then you would want actions first. Oh, by the way, this actions window is a little different from how it was. Wait is no longer the default action, and I've ordered this by what I think is going to be most frequently to least frequently used. So, the most likely action is going to be the first battle action that the champion has the first ability that the champion has available. If they have no abilities, then the first spell they can cast. Warrior can't cast any spells, so if I... Oh, right, so I have to actually clear this. And if they can't cast any spells, then the first item they can use. And if they can't use any items, then it'll default to wait. Oh, right. I have to let that unlock. Nothing bad should happen if I'm too quick with that. Let's actually just see what does happen. I think there's a little bit more of a delay now before that animation plays, just to let the menu settle down and, you know, have your eyes drawn to the right place. Again, more stuff I want to do with that. Oops, right. When I reset the scenario state, it resets all of the saved setups and everything, you know, everything goes away. So I can't keep that around just to, you know, to speed this up. So if I mess with that, I think if the animation starts to play, then it remembers that and won't show me it again the next time. Everything works fine. You know, it knows it's unlocked. Just because it's playing the animation doesn't mean it's gonna get confused and think it's still locked or anything. So yeah, like even if I did this and I were to clear this again, yeah, saving and restoring the setups is going to save me from having to do this each time, but it turns out it doesn't, because it resets when I reset the scenario state, but at least I can do this. Alright, so if I just quit the game right now, just like, bye, I'm done with this game, when I come back in, it'll remember that I haven't seen that unlock and show it to me. Yes, alright, so it does that right. Anyway, yeah, so that's fine. So right, default actions. Your default will be attack. Your available ones are attack, spell, item, move, wait. Yeah, okay. So anyway, that's just sorted better, and it has a better default. So I don't have to always come in here and just like have the champion be waiting. You know, I can still tell it to wait, but it won't be the default. So yeah, sensible defaults, very important. Like I say, I want to be able to start up the game and just press the accept button and have reasonable decisions made for me right up to the point where like there isn't a reasonable set of decisions. You know, I have to actually do some puzzling. And I'd like that to be as few button presses as possible. Like every button press should be a meaningful decision. But again, if you just want to go to the default path, you shouldn't have to make any directional inputs for each accept button press. I don't know, this is weird to think about. But like a decision would be, you know, once you get... So yeah, every time you come to an encounter, you need to add a player champion in order to do anything. But it does need to start empty because I don't know which champion you want to add. I shouldn't just like default add the first champion in your list, because you might need to then remove them and add somebody else. So like that's a meaningful decision. That's why you have to button through and add somebody. I just wish I could get around this like double click thing. I can. Of course I can. I don't need this to happen on empty tiles. Yeah, I solved it. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't even happen on enemy tiles because I can't rearrange anything. I can swap empty space with warrior, but I don't need to be able to do that. I could instead swap warrior with empty space. There we go. I solved a problem. Okay, so, sorry, I went kind of fast here. What I just realized was that when I point at this tile and press the accept button, since it's empty, it should always take me to this menu immediately. Sure, I might want to inspect the tile, and there should be a way to do that. I have this alternate button that'll just take me straight there. But almost definitely I want to add a champion. So again, reasonable default, just press the button, and there's my champion list. This should say add champion instead of available champions. Yes. Okay, I'm changing that wording. Add to party, yes. Now... doing this should just add the dude right away. I might want to inspect it, but I can do that elsewhere, can't I? Or like the alternate button should open that menu, but the main button should just add it? I don't know. This still feels like too many presses. Like even if I remove this one and go straight to the menu, Like, someone who's playing this game for the first time is going to be completely lost here. And I don't want that to be the case. Oh, right. I have to actually do this. Okay, well, anyway. So, I'm slowly navigating my way through that. I kind of have, like, intuition about what's going to be right about it, but I still have to sift through all the possibilities and check them against my intuition to know which one's going to make the most sense. Yep. Alright, so I think that's basically all the interesting stuff that I did. This was very helpful to me. Just like opening this up and talking to myself as if I'm talking to somebody else reveals so many things about, why is this off-center? I also see lots of off-center things, like there's more space here compared to this button than there is here. And I'm not immediately sure why that is. This isn't centered overall in the screen. This is wider than this, and I think this is centered as if it's not. Like this is centered in between, you know, here and here. Left side of this and right side of that. Probably because, yeah, that's clearly too far to the left. Maybe this is centered as if it would be dead center of that. Okay, things to think about. Anyway, lots for me to fix. This is always very helpful for me. Hope it's informative for some of the rest of you. Yeah, so I have a saving system now, and 100 other things I still need to do, but it's getting there. All right, I'll see you next time with more stuff done.